Hello, how are you guys? How are you guys doing? All is well? I hope all is well. I pray all is well. That all is awesome with you. How was your weekend? And we are all thankful to see another week. Thank you for joining me. Thank you. Even if it's just you're stopping by, or you just buck up on the video, somebody share it to you, and by chance you say, let me listen to this. Thank you. I really do thank you. And so I appreciate you, and I'm humbled by your footprint on this channel. Thank you for joining me with another conversation, another discussion, another topic that we can relate to, or someone we know can relate to it. And this is why it is very important for you to like the videos, share them with someone. We are creating a ripple effect of positivity, one person at a time. And subscribe if you have not yet subscribed to the channel. Subscribe, and do not forget the bell notification. Today's conversation will be about my journey. I am sharing my journey as a wife, a woman, a mother with you, but mainly today I will be talking about my journey as a wife. It wasn't an easy one. It has not been an easy one, but it was a journey, and I'll tell you why. Because marriage is a beautiful thing. I can tell you that. I can tell you it is awesome to have somebody by your side. But I will tell you my personal journey. What did it take for Jayde to become the woman she is today? What did it take? Sweat, blood, and tears. Can we finish the video? Sweat, blood, and tears. Literally. I mean, going into marriage, first of all, I went into marriage naive. I went into marriage oblivious. I mean, I was of the perception that my knight in shining armor has come, riding on a white horse, and he's gonna ride off with me in the horizon, and we're gonna live happily ever after. That was my conception of it, my thoughts, and so I was traumatized. I mean, that's talking a little bit too harsh. But I mean, my journey as a wife has been a true journey. I learned to unlearn the things that I thought I knew about myself as a woman, as now a mother and a wife. The things I thought I knew what it took for a woman to be a woman. I had to unlearn, and I had to learn and relearn and learn some more, and I'm still learning. And my journey as a wife has taken me from bitterness. I was bitter. Bearing in mind, I'm from a line of alpha females. And so, the alpha female came into her marriage wearing her armor, and she was well equipped as an alpha female. And so it caused a lot of backlash, it caused a lot of strain, and all of these things. I didn't know that I should figure out myself before I took on somebody else. I thought you just come together and intertwine. It didn't work that way. And I've ever since I was a little girl, I've wanted to be married. My dream was to be married with 2 kids, a boy and a girl. That was always my dream. As children, you say, what do you want to be when you grow up? What do you want to do? What do you want to... I was always saying, I want to be married with 2 kids and have my own business. That's it. Because I said I don't want to work with somebody else and build their dream. I just thought, you know, I have the potential to be great, and all of these things in the back of my mind and buried inside of me. Those are the things that I held on to. And so I'm married with 2 kids, a boy and a girl. But I was not ready for what hit me in marriage. I was not ready to know that I had to now evolve from a little girl taking on responsibilities, and so a man looking for you to, you know, when he shuffles, there should be somebody there holding him up and bracing him up. I didn't know that I'm going to now become the nurse, the doctor, the friend, the teacher, the chauffeur, the storyteller, the cleaner, the cook, all of these things. I was used to my own comfort zone, sleeping when I want to, waking up when I want to, doing my own thing. And so I went into marriage just, empty, pure empty. And the only thing I was full of was anger, aggression, strife, bitterness, low self-esteem. Yes, I went into marriage with low self-esteem, because though people said all these things about me, people would look at me and go like, oh, she's so pretty, and boy, and whatever, and you know, I did not know that. I did not believe it. And so it might come as a shock to a lot of people that she really had so low self-esteem. Yes, I did. And so coming into marriage with all of that, it applied pressure onto my marriage. And I remember a lot of times I would have confrontations with my husband. I'd want him to pay me attention, and the attention belongs to me, and he should not go here, he should not go there, and you know, if I call his phone, he needs to answer, and he needs to answer immediately, or else I won't stop calling until, you know, I'll call him until space runs out on his phone. And you remember those phones where the call, when you call somebody, you know, and it registered at this, they said message coming in but phone memory full. Yes, it was like that. And so he would like, you know, squinge, and he would say, why are you doing this? I'm saying, no, you need to answer me. And I yearned for a lot of attention from him, and I'm the center of his world, and I should be the center of his world, and he shouldn't have any other life. And so I was clingy, and I smothered him, and I did all of those things. And so one fine day, after bawling and crumbling and going through all of these things, he said to me, stop looking for me to love you, and love yourself. That was the most hurtful thing anybody had ever said to me. How dare this man? I mean, you have a gall to be saying to me that I should not look for you to love me. Why did you marry me? Why did you marry me then? If I should not look for you to love me, I mean, completely forgetting the twofold of what he said to me. Love yourself. I did not love myself. And so the things that I went into marriage with were, I mean, awful. 6 weeks after our marriage, I mean, and this was just one of many occasions, I took up my marriage certificate to tear it to threads, to rip it to pieces, and I said to him, leave and do not come back. And he just stood there, and he looked at me, and he shook his head. And oftentimes that would have happened. Sometimes we would have ended up in arguments where it would get so bad to the point where I'll just take things and I'll just throw them, and I'll just tear down the place, and I'll just, I mean, anything I catch, I'll just throw it down, and to the point where he would hide the cutting tools when I get like this. And he would, yeah, my husband needs a medal, I know. He should be honored continuously every day, and that is what I am doing. Yes, let's get back. But I was angry. I would talk to him above his own tone, and I would hurl. At one point, I called my husband what's that? I can't remember the word that I used, but it was really degrading to him, and he stopped in the argument and he looked at me, and I said, yes, that's what I called you. And so I tell you about this alpha female type of thing, we need to know when to use it. But I had to know, unlearn a lot of things. I had to learn how to be humble. I had to learn how to love myself. I had to learn how to take away the pain. And through all of that, the main ingredient for this was God. Because I realized that every time I centered myself in God, I would be able to see myself clearer. But anytime I took my eyes off of God, I realized that everything worked in turmoil. Everything just tore down, everything was in threads, and everything was in shambles. And this is the working on of me. And so that's why I'm telling you my story today. My journey as a wife, because it takes a lot to be a wife. When you become a wife, you're now transitioning from girl to woman, and then taking that womanhood on to wife. And so it branches off from woman, wife, mother, friend, doctor. Every other branch is coming off of this one woman. And if you're not grounded, and I wasn't grounded, I was not grounded. I look at myself today and I am just in awe, and I laugh about it sometimes, and sometimes I feel so ashamed about some of the things that I would have done in the past. And mark you, this is 9 years of marriage, and 9 years of learning and evolving and aiming for the best version of yourself, because I wrestled a lot. I believed that everything was going to be smooth sailing, and it now became a clash of two people, two different individuals. And so I would think he needs to stand down, and he needs to understand me, and he needs to do this, and he needs to do that, and it's always about he and he and he. And I pointed fingers, and I realized that each time we would be in this constant battle, tug and war, pull and push and pull and push, and we'd be in a tug and war. And I'm saying, God, if this is the man that you give to me, why is it that I cannot understand? And I remember my pastor at the time, Pastor Peter Chambers. I mean, enough love to you and your beautiful wife, Alisa Chambers. And he would say to me, Sister Jade, you need to submit. And every time he said that to me, I would rebel, and I would go to God and I said, God, how is it you're telling me that me need to submit? Don't you see this man? Don't you see what this man is doing? And this man and this man and this man and this man and this man. And I mean, it came like everybody who I spoke to, who I had a conversation with, would say to me, Sister Jade, you need to submit. I'm like, if somebody else tell me about submit one more time, just tell me submit. Just think it and let me telepathically hear it. And so I got annoyed by it. And there's this beautiful lady that came into my life. I call her my sister. And indeed, Lashani, you are a beautiful person. I mean, she would say the same thing. Jade, you need to submit. And I'm like, how is it that everybody coming to me and saying to me, I need to submit? Don't they see? But for the life of me, I could not understand, why is it people telling me that I need to submit? And it went back to where my husband said to me, love yourself. If you want to see a change, it must come from you. You have to be the change that you want to see. I mean, since I have chosen to go on a self-love, self-realization, self-journey, I understand why people said to me, Jade, submit. Jade, submit. Because the more you fight, it's the more you're gonna clash. Because men are made to fight. Men are set to war. And when you come with war to them, they are going to war. It's not gonna bring peace. So I had to now put the alpha female under subjection. I had to put her aside. And I had to say, look here. If this is going to work, you're going to have to now be a woman. And people, let me tell you this. I mean, this word woman, this a lot of us in today's society don't know what women are and who women are. Hats off to the strong females, to the strong women who are pushing hard. Hats off. But let me tell you something. To really go on a self-search to understand the woman you are created to be, there's this profound love and power that comes from your loins, that the things that you were beating up about, you realize that they're easily now fixed. They're easily worked through because you're standing in your position. You are positioned now as the woman you are called to be. You're standing in your role. And so I had to now recognize my role. I had to recognize my role. And so women need to understand, and I had to understand that it doesn't take might. It doesn't take might. As a wife, it does not take might and brute force. I was an aggressor. I mean, I was a warrior. I'm still a warrior, but a warrior in a different line. I understood where my warrior self will fit. And so I know how to war. I know when to war, and who and what to war for and against. So it's all channeling in the right directions. And so my wires were crossed when I just got married. My wires were crossed. I wouldn't reason out anything if it wasn't going my way. It's just that I just shut it down right there. And so I had to learn how to listen to my husband. And that's a key thing. That's a key thing. If you allow your husband to speak, he will speak. I had to learn that too. I had to learn to be the gentle creature that I am created to be. I had to learn, and don't take the gentleness by this misconception either, because it's all about channeling in the right direction. My husband had to undergo my depressive state, my suicidal attempt states, my aggressive states. He had to know how to sidestep. And I mean, this man is still married to me. God is awesome. God is awesome. So I had to learn how to become a wife. I had to learn how, to deal with the finances, to deal with all of these things in the home. Because guess what? The bottom line is, if you are repelling from your partner, nothing is going to go as it should. The instant you come together and fuse, connect all the dots together, head to head, shoulder to shoulder, and back to back, and your knees are set together, and you're straightened together and aligned together, then things will work. I had to learn that. There were situations in our marriage where, we would be verbally abusive to each other. I had to understand myself as a woman. And, one day, to tell you a short story, a man, there was a backslider, and I was, evangelizing to him. I tell you, these things are also in churches. You'll see married Christian women up there, and they're tearing apart, and you don't even understand, even when they're not married. But I mean, in the church, you have a lot of women, they're torn to threads in their marriages, and you would not know, because what? They don't want to be criticized, they don't want to be looked down on, and they just think that, look here, them don't want nobody in them business. I was there, I can tell you. And so I remember I was evangelizing to this backslider, and in the middle of evangelizing to him, the Lord said to me, if you cannot submit unto your husband, how can you honor me? Don't you know honoring your husband and honoring me work hand in hand and line in line? I was baffled. I paused, and the young man I was evangelizing to said, what happened to you, miss? I said to him, oh my God, you know what the Lord just told me? And when I relayed it to him, he looked at me and smiled. Right in the middle of evangelizing to somebody else to come unto the Lord split right into the middle of it and say, hello. You have to submit unto your husband in order. And I do not mean you sit down under an abusive, physically abusive and those type of things. No, that's not what I mean. I mean, don't become an aggressive person. That's person who, you're loud and you're just vulgar and you're just all of these things about you. No, be the woman that he has called you to be. And so everything is going to align itself. Everything is going to be aligned. If you realize there are things, I had to see that there are things out of place. Lord, how am I going to do this? And for years, people were saying to me, Jade, submit. I thought they were saying, make him talk down to you. Make him do anything when feel like. Make him this, make him that, make him this. And so I wanted control. I wanted a part of my life to say, you know what? No, me not make no man stand down to me. Me not make no man talk down to me. Oh, who ma talk to me? No man a joke ya make. I can't me ma talk to you. You're mad. You're mad. You think me can tell some of my family members that my husband are raising voice? You're crazy. And so sorry, I went into character just now. But I mean, you understand what I'm saying. We need to be humble. Women, you need to be humble. I had to learn humility. I'm still learning a lot of things. And, we've had some amazing times together. I've enjoyed a lot of things. And so, in true love to someone, you give them your all. But if your all was damaged, you need to fix the damaged areas, because that is not going to hinder going forward and really being together. Because sometimes there are things we need to fix of ourselves, and we don't understand that it needs to be fixed up by with ourselves. The self, I want to let you know how important self evaluation is. It is no joke that if you desire to be married, fix thou thyself before you go on to someone to intertwine with him. There are things, you will never be completely fixed, but there are things about you sticking out like thorns, like they were about me. And I had to fix it. For me, I had to fix it in marriage. But to prevent that, fix it while going to it, because it would be harder to do. I am blessed with a man that loves me unconditionally and despite all. He's not perfect, because he too had to be doing self-evaluation. He too had to understand. And one of the things that I love about my husband, even when I was raging war, and I would tell him oftentimes, this is it, I'm not married to you anymore, I take my ring off, I take my marriage certificate and I throw it down, and I'd say, this is it, I'm not doing this anymore. He would always keep his peace. Always keep his peace. The journey as a wife is a refining one. My journey as a wife taught me to be humble. My journey as a wife taught me to be a woman. It taught me self-love, self-evaluation, self-respect, because out of my self-evaluation, love and respect, I could now love my husband unconditionally. I could now love my husband with respect. I could honor him and truly give myself unto him as he deserves. And so doing that, there's a little story that was told in church, and I remember laughing when Pastor Kevin McDonald gave that illustration in church. I remember laughing, and I'm like, no God, oh no. And he said there was once a woman who prepared a cup of tea for her husband. She was a Christian woman, but her husband wasn't a Christian, and so she prepared the cup of tea to him, and she brought it and presented it to him, and he threw it on her, and she humbly took it up, cleaned up, went back to the kitchen, prepared a fresh cup of tea and presented it to him again. He did the same thing, threw the hot tea on her, and she cleaned it up, take up everything, go back to the kitchen, presented a third cup, and upon the third cup she presented to him, he broke down in tears. And I remember saying in church, I said, God, me not so saved yet. I said, I ain't saved like that yet. I'm not there yet. But I now say, if that were me, what would I do? What would I do? And if that person is you, what would you do? My marriage, my journey as a wife has taught me to grow up. It taught me the value of self, of the other person, and it all starts with you, the individual. It started with me. I did not know it started with me. I just thought that it come together and he must live for me and me live for him, and not realizing that it starts with you. It is what you have an individual, how you value yourself and what you would want to be done unto yourself, the things that you do inside of you and carry out onto another person. These are the things that affect relationships. These are the things that affect individuals. And if you're ugly, because I was ugly inside, I was so ugly and so distraught, so unclean. I wasn't fit to be married by anybody, and so he loved me despite, and for the life of me I'm still asking, how on earth did this man marry me? I mean, why? But it now gives me a newfound respect and love for my husband that is so profound, because I can now look at me and say, I am woman. I am woman. And you know, my crown is being straightened. You know, so thank you for listening to my journey, a section or a fraction of my journey as a wife. And so it was an honor to share it with you. But I'll leave these things with you. Be positive. Love yourself. Share with yourself. Be true to yourself. Honor yourself. Respect yourself. Because when you do it unto you, then you can pass it on to someone else. Your relationship with another person is the reflection of how you treat your own self. So thank you again. Do not forget to like, share, subscribe, and don't forget the bell notification. Say something down below in the comment section. Talk to me and I'll answer back. Tell me your views. Tell me what you're thinking. Love, respect, honor, and not forget yourself. Thank you, guys.